Now at 5 o'clock, Hurricane Dorian now dangerously close to the southeastern coastline. Already, curfews are in place in South Carolina, and hurricane warnings are in effect from the southernmost coast of South Carolina to Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Mother Nature can be, a beast too, so.
We have live team coverage this morning. We're tracking the storm from the First Alert Weather Center, and our crews are on the ground on the coast as neighbors prepare for what could be the third hurricane to hit their area in 4 years.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
Now at 5 o'clock, strict travel restrictions, no NBA games, and extensive cleaning, all to prevent the further spread of the coronavirus in the United States. WBTV is on your side with live team coverage this morning. Our Anne-Marie Haggerty is at the airport to bring you the very latest on travel restrictions, and our Sharon Hayes is continuing to follow the NBA's decision to suspend the season until further notice.
For a traffic report brought to you by Toyota of North Charlotte. We start you out with our NC-DOT camera at 77 southbound, and the John Belk. All is moving smoothly this morning. As we take a look at the maps, all is in the green on 85 and 77. If you're trying to avoid the active school bus zones and the school zones, I should say, you may want to leave earlier rather than later this morning. All of your drive times at this point are at or below 21 minutes if you're coming in from Rock Hill, Concord, and Lake Norman. Mir?
All right, Jonathan, thank you for that. And while students are getting ready to head back to school today, you can expect traffic to be a little bit busier than usual, as Jonathan just said. So he's going to keep us updated throughout the morning here. But we want to start off our team coverage this morning as we all head back to class. Bria Bell tells us more on what message law enforcement officials in Gaston County have for drivers. Bria.
Yeah, Mary, Gaston County law officials are teaming up with school district officials in an operation called BOLO, which means be on the lookout for children in school buses. For kids, the start of a new year means new teachers, classmates, and schedules. For drivers, it means new pedestrian signs in areas close to schools throughout the county and changes to the speed limit school zones. Gaston County Schools has thousands of students heading back this morning, and this message comes as a helpful guidance for drivers so they get used to seeing more kids out and about before and after school. Sheriff Alan Cloninger says this is not a generic back-to-school message. It's to get you to seriously recognize that slowing down, even if it's just a few miles, could mean the difference of life or death if you were to hit a child.
People out here speeding. Don't take the chance of not buckling yourself in. Please don't take the chance of not buckling in that precious child that you're bringing to school.
Officials also say to put down your cell phone or any other distractions that would take your eyes and attention away from the road. Live in Gaston County, Bria Bell, WBTV, on your side.
All right, Bria, thank you for that. Charlotte-Mecklenburg students may be seeing some changes to their curriculum when they hit the classroom today. CMS district officials say students will also find that the availability of emotional services has also been expanded. Our Sharon Hayes is joining us live this morning to tell us about these updates. And Sharon, what exactly may look different for students in CMS this year?
Well, good morning. Yes, the CMS district is headed into the new school year with some new partnerships. The first is with EL Education, and this would be for K through 6th grade English language arts. They also linked up with Open Up resources for 8th grade math. So your child could be seeing the introduction to those courses within the next couple of weeks. And district officials say that this specific targeting was for a reason. Officials say the limited grade levels right now allow targeted professional training and also support, and they're hoping to expand that to other school subjects and grade levels very soon. Now, another change you may be seeing is social emotional staffing by way of psychologists, counselors. Once they are fully staffed, they're expecting there to be a social worker for every Title I school, 10 social workers providing support to homeless students, and then ultimately itinerant social workers for schools that aren't Title I but still have what they say are significant needs.
We have also been working to reduce the ratio for school psychologists, and once fully staffed this year, we'll have a 1 to 1,600 ratio reflecting an added 22 positions.
Now, the latest numbers we've received from CMS say that they filled about 99% of their vacancies, so that means they've hired about 2,100 teachers. They also say they've gotten about 100 from their CMS teaching residency. I'm Sharon Hayes reporting live in Charlotte, WBTV on your side.
All right, Sharon, thank you. And continuing our back to school coverage this morning, last week on Morning Break, we had a roundtable with local superintendents, including Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Superintendent Ernest Winston. He told us what's a top priority for him.
I would say that the number one issue that keeps me up at night is around safety. And I think my colleagues would say the same thing. It's something that's always top of mind. I go to bed at night thinking about safety. I wake up in the morning thinking about safety. And we try to do everything we can to make sure that we're keeping our students, our staff, and visitors to our schools safe.
And our Chandler Morgan is going to speak with the superintendent later this morning here on WBTV. As you get ready to go this morning, make sure you send us your first day pictures. Go to WBTV.com/WBTVandme. Once you're there, all you got to do is scroll down to find the back to school picture section and then follow the prompts to add your first day of school pictures. You can add a caption to the photo. You'll be asked just to give your name and your email address and then just wait for your picture to upload. We hope to get lots of pictures from you as you head out the door this morning to share on the air as this new school year gets underway. And make sure to stay with WBTV online and on air throughout the morning today. Our crews will be reporting across the area as more and more students head back to class.
All right, getting to headlines now and looking ahead, Congress expecting to vote on an emergency response bill today in regards to combating the coronavirus in the U.S. The bill includes free testing, paid sick leave, and unemployment insurance. This comes after President Donald Trump addressed the nation from the Oval Office the same day the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus as a global pandemic. Now, here at home, we are keeping track of the coronavirus cases in the Carolinas. The latest case in North Carolina is in Wake County, bringing the total number of cases in the state to 8.
Health officials say the person had contact with someone visiting from Indiana who later tested positive. Now, we have mapped out for you the known cases for both Carolinas. Take a look. Yesterday afternoon, South Carolina also reported another case, a woman in Lancaster County, bringing the total number of cases there in South Carolina to 10. Now, we do not have any specifics on that woman, including her age or her location in the county, but we do know at this point she is isolated and in the hospital.
Now, back in North Carolina, the Durham County Department of Public Health says a person who lives there tested positive for the virus while they were out of state. So we are working to learn more about this. Right now, we don't know where that person was, but this morning they do remain out of state and will stay there until they are recovered. Now, we've also learned the person flew through the Raleigh-Durham airport from an international location on March 2nd. The following day, they started showing symptoms, and 2 days later, they did drive out of state alone. Now, on Monday, they tested positive for the virus. Some better news here because we're told the person was not showing signs or symptoms while at the Raleigh-Durham airport. Health officials say when that's the case, the risk of spreading the virus is lower. Now, we do have team coverage on the coronavirus this morning. Our Sharon Hayes covering the NBA's decision to suspend its season. But first, let's start with Anne-Marie Haggerty. Anne-Marie, there are those new travel restrictions for the entire country because of the coronavirus. President Trump says those will go into effect tomorrow. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so that restriction is going to be 30 days of suspension of flights coming in from Europe. The only exception to that is from the United Kingdom, but all other countries and flights coming in from Europe have been suspended starting Friday at midnight for 30 days. President Trump said after that and during that period of suspension, he's going to be evaluating things to see if that needs to continue or not, if the threat of the virus dies down. He also said that any Americans in Europe will be exempt as long as they do go through appropriate screenings, but he didn't give specifics on what exactly those screenings will look like. He did say that he doesn't want anyone that's fighting the virus to worry about the financial burden of medical bills, and he's talking with insurance companies about waiving co-pays tied to treatment.
This is the most aggressive and comprehensive effort to confront a foreign virus in modern history. I am confident that by counting and continuing to take these tough measures, we will significantly reduce the threat to our citizens, and we will ultimately and expeditiously defeat this virus.
And he did close that address, warning everybody to be especially on guard, particularly for those elderly people that are especially vulnerable, particularly with travel at this time. Back to you.
All right, Anne-Marie, thank you. Now let's turn it over to Sharon Hayes. The NBA now suspending the rest of its season because of the coronavirus after a player tested positive. Sharon, you've been talking about this all morning. Tell us a little bit about what you know.
Good morning, Kristen. Yes, well, it means that it's going to be a while before fans can see their beloved Hornets play or any other teams that they support in the association, because the NBA has suspended all of its games indefinitely. And that is because officials say that a Utah Jazz player tested positive for coronavirus, Rudy Gobert. They found out right before the game against the Oklahoma Thunder yesterday, which then was postponed. And then ultimately the NBA decided all games would have to be suspended. Now, we spoke to NBA fans outside here at the Spectrum Center last night. It was shocking news for a lot of them and a big blow to those who love to come out to the games.
With them suspending the NBA season for the coronavirus, I don't see how that's really possible. They shouldn't have, but at the same time, they're trying to protect all the players.
Well, the NCAA has also made similar moves. Officials yesterday announced that their men's and women's basketball tournaments will be held without fans, and they'll be moving to smaller venues. Meanwhile, speaking with NBA officials, they say it's unclear when the games will resume at this time. They're still planning this out, but they say they're going to use this hiatus to determine next steps in light of this coronavirus pandemic. So we'll be waiting around for more information from them. I'm Sharon Hayes reporting live in Uptown Charlotte. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
This morning, 7 people have died because of this storm, and so nothing to mess around with as it moves up the coastline. We will continue to follow the latest that's coming out of the Bahamas as they're just getting their arms around that recovery effort now that the storm has passed the islands. Christine.
All right, thank you, Mary. Sticking with the Bahamas, says dozens of people are still trapped inside homes and hotels because of Dorian. A Salisbury woman is trying to get to her daughter, who lives in the Bahamas with her family, back to North Carolina after they lost their home in the storm. WBTV's Bria Bell spoke to the mom over the phone. And Bria, how is that family holding up right now?
Well, Christine, through tears, Ellen Maddox told me that her daughter Ashley is living in Hope Town and is stuck. She says her daughter has been living there for 10 years with her husband. The two have 3 kids who are 5, 3, and 1 month old. And she says they've only been able to communicate through a satellite phone, and it's painful for her because updates don't come fluidly. They come every so often, every few hours, if even that. Dorian started ripping apart the area where Ashley lives on Sunday. The married couple left their home and went for higher ground as they waited to see what the hurricane would do. The place where they were staying started to crumble as well, and both houses were ripped away. Ellen says her daughter, son-in-law, and grandbabies walked to a marina that was close by, and the damage was so bad only 6 rooms are left standing. Ellen says she doesn't know if her daughter is sleeping in water or even getting any sleep at all. The only reason why they've been able to get in contact with one another is because of that satellite phone that nearby boaters let Ashley use. The storm has mostly moved on from that area, something she's been thanking God for.
Alert Traffic is sponsored by Toyota of North Charlotte. A good Wednesday morning to you, friends. Here's a look at your I-85 drive times. Good morning, Gastonia. It's a 21-minute commute at this time as you roll into Center City. If you're coming from the other direction, Concord, 20 minutes, 23 minutes, moving at 66 miles per hour coming in from Kannapolis. Keep in mind, if you live or work in the West Charlotte area, there is an investigation going on due to an accident overnight between Wilkinson Boulevard and Old Down on Warrior Street. In fact, Mary King is standing by in the Alert Center. We hear that this accident involved a pedestrian.
Yeah, and the pedestrian may not be doing very well this morning, Jonathan. We've been monitoring this live picture from our Taylor Simpson, and I want to bring it to you full now because you can see there's a heavy police presence right now at Boyer Street and Wilkinson Boulevard. We're told that the man was hit just before 4 a.m. Medic transported him to the hospital. We're told he has life-threatening injuries, and we are waiting for an update on his condition at this time. Now, police who are on the scene say they don't know if it is going to have an impact impact on rush hour traffic. They're not sure how long the investigation is going to take. But again, as you mentioned, Jonathan, Boyer Street is shut down for now. Keep in mind, this is the street located on the south side of Billy Graham Boulevard. So CMPD suggesting you need to cut through to Billy Graham from Wilkinson or need to reconnect on the other side, the north side on Billy Graham, if you're going to be going that route this morning until they reopen that road. Keep in mind, though, as we mentioned at the top of the show, this is the exact same intersection where a different person was hit just last Friday. So in less than a week's time, 2 people have been hit in the same area. And this is video from that scene last Friday when that man was struck and killed. At that time, the person that hit the man had fled the scene. The area was poorly lit when it first happened, so police were saying they were looking for information on who possibly hit that person, and at last check, they were still investigating that crash. They believe that the person involved may have been driving a Mercedes or a Volvo. So again, still looking for that driver in the same area, same intersection where this serious crash happened this morning. Something we'll continue to follow throughout the morning. John?
Now here is a look this morning out of Los Angeles, where a memorial is growing for basketball legend Kobe Bryant outside the Staples Center, where he played for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, thousands of people just been there around the clock since the news broke, and people around the world, and then right here in Charlotte, of course, mourning the loss of Kobe Bryant. As we mentioned at the top of the show, the Duke Energy building in Uptown is lit up in purple and gold, the colors of the LA Lakers.
Yeah, the basketball star, along with 8 other people, including his 13-year-old daughter, were killed in a helicopter crash yesterday. That in Calabasas, California, that's near Los Angeles. Gianna, his 13-year-old daughter, was killed, as we said. We've learned they were traveling to Mamba Sports Academy for a basketball game. He regularly used a helicopter to fly to games and other locations. This morning, we're hearing from Hornets owner and basketball legend Michael Jordan. WBTV's Anne-Marie Haggerty joins us now live from the Spectrum Center. And Anne-Marie, Michael Jordan called Bryant his little brother, didn't he?
John, he did, and he said that he loved him like a little brother, a family member. He said that they used to talk often, and he's in shock right now. He said he's heartbroken, at a loss for words at the news that Kobe has died. We heard from Kobe about his mutual admiration for Jordan early on in his career. He was compared to him. He said he took it as a great compliment. He didn't even know what to say in reaction to that. And then we also did hear in this statement from Jordan, he said, quote, that Kobe was a fierce competitor. He was one of the greats of the game, a creative force. Kobe was also an amazing dad who loved his family deeply and took great pride in his daughter's love for the game of basketball. We do know that they were headed to a basketball game where he was supposed to coach his daughter Gianna playing in that game. We also heard from Hornets owner Hornets general manager and the former owner of the Lakers who worked with Kobe, Mitch Kuchak, who said Kobe was a once-in-a-generation player who will forever be remembered for his competitive nature and his will to win. They threw away the mold when Kobe Bryant was born, and there will never be another like him. And certainly that is the feeling for fans here in the Charlotte area. We've been talking with them, and they are just shocked by this news, just like the people that knew him, Jordan and the others in the game. And coming up at 5:30, you're going to hear directly from some fans that we spoke to here on the streets of Charlotte about their reactions to this news of Kobe Bryant. For now, reporting live at the Spectrum Center, I'm Anne-Marie Haggerty, WBTV News, on your side.
Now, overnight, we did learn the names of some of the other crash victims. Orange Coast College baseball coach John Altobelli, along with his wife and daughter, were on board. Family members of Christina Mauser, who's an assistant girls basketball coach in Orange County, say she was also on the helicopter. Authorities say it will take several days to recover all of the bodies.
Carolina Panther Greg Olsen tweeting last night after finding out about the death of Kobe Bryant, as did many celebrities and athletes from around the world. Olsen says he had just read a story on Kobe about how much he enjoyed his time with his kids in retirement. He goes on to say his message hit home with him and that the death of Kobe is heartbreaking.